Within minutes of being born, a baby giraffe stands up. Minutes. It has never existed before, and it is already on its feet. A foal walks within hours of birth. Sea turtles hatch alone and immediately run toward the ocean. No help, no waiting. Just ready. Now think about a human baby. It cannot hold its own head up. It cannot feed itself. It cannot regulate its own body temperature. For months, it cannot do almost anything without someone doing it for them. And this does not last days. It lasts years. Researchers argue the human brain is not fully mature until the mid-20s. The mid-20s. So here is the thing that has quietly bothered scientists for generations. How did the most helpless infant on the planet become the most dominant species that has ever lived? I have been thinking about this for a while. And the answer is one of the strangest things I have found. To really feel how unusual humans are, you need a comparison. Chimpanzees are our closest living relatives. Their babies are born gripping. From the very first moments of life, a newborn chimpanzee can cling to its mother as she moves. It can regulate its own temperature. A chimp baby begins crawling at 1 month old. A human baby does not crawl until around 7 months. Sit with that for a second. A chimpanzee does in 1 month what a human cannot manage for 7, and the chimpanzee is not even considered early by animal standards. Scientists have a word for animals born in this undeveloped, dependent state: altricial, and humans are, among all our primate relatives, unusually altricial. A human newborn's brain is less than 30% of its adult size at birth. A chimpanzee newborn's brain is already around 40%. That gap sounds small. It is not. According to research published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, for a human baby to be born at the same neurological level as a newborn chimpanzee, the pregnancy would need to last 18 to 21 months, not 9, 18 to 21. We are not born finished. We are born in the middle of something. Around 6 million years ago, something changed. Our ancestors stood up, and standing up was extraordinary. It freed the hands. It allowed the eyes to scan further. It made long-distance movement more efficient. But it changed the shape of the pelvis. And at exactly the same time, something else was happening. The brain was growing. Over millions of years, the human brain tripled in size. A bigger brain means a bigger head. A bigger head needs to exit a body built for walking upright. For decades, scientists called this the obstetrical dilemma. The body optimized for walking was in conflict with the brain that kept getting larger. The traditional answer was that babies had to be born early, before the head grew too large to pass through safely. But here is where it gets strange. Researcher Holly Dunsworth at the University of Rhode Island tested this directly and found almost no evidence for it. Wider hips do not impair walking. The pelvis was not the limiting factor. The real limit was the mother's metabolism. By around 9 months, the energy demands of the growing fetus approach the absolute limit of what a mother's body can sustain. 1 additional month would push her past her breaking point. So the baby is not born early because of the hips. The baby is born because the mother has reached her metabolic edge. And so we arrive in the world with a brain that is less than 30% complete. Still developing. Still open. Still becoming. Most animals become independent quickly. A wolf pup is hunting with the pack within months. A deer fawn is walking and hiding within days. Humans take a different path. A human child requires years. Years of feeding, years of teaching, years of protection, years of guidance. And for a long time, scientists framed this as a problem, an evolutionary flaw, something that should have been fixed. But I think that framing misses something important, because the brain that arrives unfinished keeps developing in contact with the world. It absorbs language, it absorbs culture, it absorbs the emotional texture of every relationship it is born into. A baby deer mostly needs instincts. A human child needs an entire civilization. And the long childhood that looks like weakness is actually the delivery window for everything that makes humans extraordinary. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself in response to experience. Human brains remain highly plastic for far longer than any other primate. The longer the window stays open, the more of the world can pour in. The helplessness is not the flaw. The helplessness is the opening. If this is making humans feel stranger than you expected, subscribe to Ekara. Because the weirdest things about being human are almost always hiding in plain sight. Tell me in the comments, what animal do you think has the most surprising babies? Here is the part that genuinely unsettles me. Researchers at the University of Rochester proposed something that sounds almost circular, but it might explain everything. Helpless infants require intelligent parents. Intelligent parents pass on genes for larger brains. Larger brains mean babies born even more helpless. More helpless babies require even more intelligent parents. And the cycle amplifies itself. Each turn of that loop selected for more intelligence, more care, more social complexity. Human helplessness and human intelligence may have built each other. The weakness created the pressure created the capability, and the capability created more weakness, which created more pressure, which created more capability. That loop ran for millions of years and produced something no other species ever became. All of it may trace back to a baby that could not hold its own head up. There is one more piece most people never stop to consider. A human baby is so demanding that one parent alone often cannot manage. In the ancient world, this was not a preference. It was a survival problem. Anthropologist Sarah Hrdy spent decades studying what she calls cooperative breeding. The pattern, unique among the great apes, of human communities raising children together. She argues that human babies essentially forced the emergence of the extended family. Grandmothers became critical, not decorative. Critical. Fathers became more involved than in virtually any other primate species. Aunts, uncles, older siblings. The whole social network organized itself around the survival of the most helpless creature in the forest. And cooperation, practiced across thousands of generations, built something. Language spread because adults had to coordinate around children. Knowledge spread because survival required transmission between generations. The village, the tribe, the community, all of it may have been built by the demands of a creature that could not lift its own head. We did not build civilization despite our weakness. We may have built it because of it. Modern adults spend enormous energy projecting independence, self-sufficiency, the idea that needing people is somehow a weakness. But the science tells a different story. Humans are among the most socially dependent animals that have ever existed. Social isolation measurably damages human health. Loneliness accelerates cognitive decline, disrupts sleep, weakens the immune system, and is associated with significantly earlier death. The human nervous system was never designed to operate alone. It was designed for exactly the kind of dense, connected world that helpless human infants created. The dependency that begins in the first hours of life never fully ends. It just changes shape. From needing someone to hold your head up, to needing someone to listen, to needing someone to stay. We are still, at the deepest biological level, the creature that cannot survive without others. And maybe that is not weakness. Maybe that is just the most honest thing about us. So why are human babies so helpless? Because the brain that was growing inside them had already reached the limit of what the mother could sustain. Because evolution chose a larger brain over a more prepared newborn. Because that unfinished brain kept growing in contact with the world and turned out to be capable of absorbing an entire civilization. Because the helplessness that required care built the cooperation that became culture. Human babies look fragile, and in many ways they are. But inside that fragile, unfinished, entirely dependent creature is a brain that will spend the next 2 decades building itself into something no other species has ever managed. We did not succeed despite being born helpless. We succeeded, at least in part, because of it. And maybe that is the strangest part of all. If this changed the way you see your own species, subscribe to Ekara. Because next time, we go somewhere else in human evolution that most people never stop to question. Tell me in the comments, do you think human intelligence was worth the trade-off of being born so helpless? I genuinely want to know what you think.